Welcome to In the Harbor, the podcast where sports, leisure, and finance meet. I'm your host, Jason Johns, and it's a massive week in sports. Florida took down Houston on Monday, stopping their bid for the first national championship. The Masters tees off on Thursday at Augusta, but most importantly, also Thursday, the puck drops on the Frozen Four. To break it all down, there's no one better than our own Sean Ritchlin, who's been covering the Frozen Four for the last 21 years for ESPN. Sean, welcome in. Thanks for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's the eve of the Frozen Four. What a great time of year to be a college hockey fan, and this is what you wait for all season.
Absolutely, and it's an exciting time for hockey fans, of course. Playoffs are a special event. It's win or go home. So this is the biggest game any of these guys have played for the season. What strikes you with the field?
I think it's the most balanced field we've seen in college hockey since I've been doing this, and which lends itself to tough competitive games. And we saw that in the regional with a couple of the finals going to overtime and being an aggressive style. Some dramatic goals to win to go to the Frozen Four. I think the really neat thing about this tournament in St. Louis coming up here this week is you have two teams that have never been to the Frozen Four that have a chance to win in Penn State and Western, and they're both really good.
And I'm really looking forward to the first game on Thursday, which is 5 p.m. on ESPN2, which is Western Michigan against Denver. These teams have played each other this season, so maybe we've seen kind of how they shape up against each other.
Yeah, it's been really evenly matched between the teams so far this season when they played both in the NCAA regular season and in the playoff in the Penrose Cup, where Denver ended up with a nice lead in the third period. Unfortunately, couldn't maintain it. Western took advantage and won that game in overtime.
And what do you think about defense for each team? I know Denver picked up Zeev Buium, 12th pick.
Yeah, 12th pick by Minnesota. He is a super talent, probably one of the most talented defensemen in college hockey, if not the most talented defenseman in college hockey, along with Quinn Hudson over at BU. And when you look at what Zeev Buium can do for a team offensively, he just opens up the ice for the rest of the team on a daily basis. He sees the ice incredibly well. David Carl's teams historically have won, a lot in the last several years, but a constant thing that they do throughout the season with their team is they allow their best players to be the best players, and Zeev Buium has the ability to take over games at any time.
All right, and I think Denver, this is going to be their 6th appearance in the Frozen Four since 2016.
It's pretty impressive if you think about it. I mean, this team always comes to play. They now have taken over my alma mater, Michigan, for the most wins in NCAA tournament history of the Frozen Four, and they continue to dominate play. It's just a deep team that knows how to win when times are really important. And when you look at the structure of great teams that are successful in college hockey, in the one-and-done games, there's definitely a constant. You have great goaltending, and Matt Davis is a phenomenal goalie. He's already won the national title. He's familiar with what to do in these types of games, doesn't give up big rebounds, seems calm, cool, and collected in the net. And Coach Carl certainly has a luxury having a veteran goalie who has won before between the pipes, and it's very different than the other goalies that are entering this tournament this weekend.
And I think that says a lot. You having been on this stage before, where does mental play into it, especially with Denver having won just last year?
Well, I think they're confident. I don't know if this is the best team they've brought to the Frozen Four. If I'm being honest, they've had a bit of a rocky year. They had a tough loss to a club team with UNLV early in the season. They're a team that's really skilled offensively with Devine, King, and Thompson, their top line. They moved the puck well. Jack Devine had a huge year. Didn't score as many goals as he did last year, but he certainly was impressive with the amount of assists that he had. And Carter King's a great leader and the captain of the team. And then, of course, Aiden Thompson has just been a very reliable source to put the puck in the net for them for several years. So that top line is really good. And they're balanced. They're very balanced. But I'm not sure if this is their best team. But you can never count them out in the tournament. They are a team that plays with so much structure and doesn't give you much. When you get chances, you have to take advantage against Denver. So in this game against Western Michigan, Western's going to have to find a way to put the puck in the net when they get those chances.
And I believe both teams are actually tied for the number one scoring offenses in the country.
Yeah, they are. They're deep teams, right? They both can put the puck in the net. And the NCHC this year did not get as many teams into the tournament as they have in the past. But guess what? The two they did get in, they're both in the Frozen Four. So it says a lot about that conference and what they've been able to do historically. You know, you had those great years with Minnesota Duluth and Coach Sandelin up there doing winning a couple titles in a row, but always getting the tournament. Of course, St. Cloud's been in the tournament a lot. North Dakota just had a huge shakeup with my old buddy Dane Jackson getting the head coaching job in North Dakota, which is a huge deal for all the amazing college hockey fans up there, and they're going to support the heck out of that program on a go-forward basis. And then in the NCHC, just missing out and getting to the tournament this year was Arizona State, which to me is an up-and-coming program that people need to keep their head out for.
All right. Well, moving on to Western Michigan, we talked quite a bit about the players on Denver's team specifically.
Yeah.
What do you like about Western Michigan? Who are the standouts? Who do you think is going to have to bring their best for Western Michigan to come out victorious?
Well, for the Broncos, this season has been really impressive from start to finish. Head coach Pat Ferschweiler, who we had a chance to talk with today, we chatted a lot about the consistency of the group, the closeness of the group, and it starts and ends with Captain Tim Washy. He's the center on this team. He plays all the important draws. He plays on the penalty kill. He blocks shots. He scores big goals, as he scored the game winner against UMass on a deflection in front of the net. He is the leader of this team up and down the ice. And then they're just scattered with a lot of talent all throughout the lineup. And as you look at this, Lukinskis who came to Western this year, Hampton and Grant, the brothers. Grant transferred in from Northern Michigan, and Hampton, the goaltender, who's a freshman, who's been one of the top goalies in the country for a long, long time. If you look at, his age group, you have really good goaltending with USA Hockey right now, with Trey Augustine at Michigan State, who's, many people think the best goaltender in the country. He won the gold medal playing in net, but right there, Hampton Slukinski is right behind him. He's a superstar goalie, probably the top goalie in the NCHC this year, and someone that they're going to lean on for sure. But this team is balanced. They're physical. What I love about them heading into this tournament is they have won a lot of close, tight games, and you're going to need to win one of those to win a national championship.
Absolutely. And looking at the Slukinski brothers, of course, Grant is older, so it makes sense that his little brother is the goalie.
That's right. You got to fire pucks. You probably made him put on like the little street hockey pads when he was a kid and just fired pucks at him.
I would imagine that's exactly how that happened, but it worked.
It definitely worked. And then defensively, this team is structured, sound. They block shots. They get pucks out of their own end quickly. Fun team to watch. And there's so much good going on right now in Kalamazoo with Western Michigan. They announced they're building a new arena in Kalamazoo. It'll be a big community rink, but no expense is going to be spared. This is a program that is developing players for the next level for the NHL. They've got high-end draft picks on this team. Zach Nearing, a monster on the wing. He's 6'5", freshman who's drafted by Winnipeg, who's a type of player who can take over games. And then Alex Bump, the Philadelphia Flyers draft pick, the leading scorer on the team. He's had a heck of a year. He's only a sophomore. He's someone that Denver's going to have to keep a close eye on as this game gets going. And when you look at what's happening with Pat Ferschweiler and what he's building, it's a culture for the Broncos. They want to play for each other. Of course, the Lawson Lunatics, the crazy fan base that come out to every game to support their team, has been a big home ice advantage, and I imagine they're going to travel extremely well to St. Louis. So it will be a big crowd, and Western's first time ever in the Frozen Four, which is kind of hard to believe with all the great teams they've had. This is the first time they've ever been there.
And you look at the parallel between Western and Denver. So this is Western's first time. Denver, of course, is a perennial.
Yep.
I think this is their 20th appearance in the Frozen Four.
It's a lot. We've lost count. And if you think about it, if it's only 20 appearances, I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, and they've won it 10 times, they're going for their 11th.
They're going for the 11th.
So their percentages are incredible. It's really hard to bet against Denver. If you're looking at this game, what's going to tell you early on how it's going is can Western have sustained forecheck? When they get in the offensive zone, they do a great job of keeping the puck down low and pressuring. They struggle with that in UMass in the third period, and UMass kind of took it to them, or in the first period, rather. UMass took it to them, and then Western had a big pushback. So look for that offensive zone pressure. Can Western keep the puck in the zone? So not just rush it down the zone and not get second chances. Do they have the ability to cycle the puck in the offensive zone and keep the play going?
And I think as far as developing the program, too, this is a great stage for some of their freshman players. You have Eero Hakkarainen, Zach Sharp. This will be a great experience.
That name, by the way. It's a tough name.
It is a tough name. You're right.
Yeah, they do. They're getting a ton of experience. They can play. They're super talented, and they're getting relied on in big moments. And as a result of that, they've had a lot of success. And starts and ends with your defense and your goaltending. Both these teams have a familiarity with each other, which can be a little bit odd in this scenario. They played each other in the NCHC championship, which was a wild game. Denver up 3-1 in the third period, goes to overtime, and Western comes out with the W. So, this is a team that has guys who've scored big goals. Liam Valente had an amazing regional tournament, was named regional player of the tournament out there in Fargo. And, I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm not sure which way it's going to go. They've been tight games all way, and it's really going to come down to who plays the best on that day, and that's what you want in these scenarios.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to this game as well. I was happy when I saw that this was the first game coming on at 5 o'clock. Shifting gears, if we take a look at the later game, which is 8:30.
BU and Penn State. I mean, I did BU in Toledo in the regional, and it was a great game. It was fast-paced. Against Cornell. I thought BU had a really bad first period against Ohio State in their first game, and Ohio State took it to them. But the Buckeyes just couldn't convert, and the reason they couldn't convert is because Big Mike Yegorov, the freshman goaltender, what a story this kid is. He's in Omaha in the USHL. Halfway through the season, Jay Pandolfo, the coach at BU, realizes we probably need some help in net. They had a great goaltender, Matthew Caron, who just was struggling a little bit. So they wanted to bring in some competition. They bring in Yegorov halfway through the year. So he's a freshman from Russia. He goes to college. He's taking all high-end classes, honors classes, academic at BU, and he jumps in as the starting goaltender. I mean, just imagine the pressure he's feeling. Now, there's a few things here. He's 6'5". He covers a lot of the net. So it's hard to get the puck in on the first shot on him. You got to fight for rebounds and second chance opportunities. But BU's outside of the goaltending situation, they're high-end talent. When they get chances, they tend to score.
And what I like about this matchup is it's pretty interesting. BU's program is over 100 years old. Penn State's just over a decade.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at BU's history and the players that have gone through there and the guys that have been there, look at their roster last year. Lane Hudson and Macklin Celebrini. Two guys that are up for the Calder Trophy this year. Most likely Lane Hudson's going to win it. Plays in Montreal. He's been a dominant force in the power play. Brother to Quinn and Cole, both on BU and superstars. Cole Hudson, the defenseman that, is just dazzling to watch and can do things on the ice that you wouldn't even think were possible 3 years ago. Similar to his brother Lane, who is now dominating in the NHL. So they develop players at a high level, BU, and they get them to the NHL with success. And Jay Pandolfo is not afraid to bring in those type of players. Now, there has not been a team that's won a national championship, though, with a young core of high-end players for a long time. You look at the teams that Michigan had. They had 4 picks in the top 5 in the NHL draft with Matty Berniers, Kent Johnson, Owen Power, and I'm leaving one out. Who am I leaving out? Oh, Luke Hughes. So they had a lot of high-end skill and just were unable to win a national title. Sometimes the teams that have the best young players just don't win. It's hard.
Yep, I can see that. And this is BU's 3rd straight appearance in the Frozen Four?
Yeah, every year Jay Pandolfo's been there. The crazy stat about him is, as a player and as a head coach, he hasn't missed going to the Frozen Four. So he's won every regional he's attended, which is quite remarkable when you think about the competition.
So that was 4 as a player, 3 as a coach.
4 as a player, 3 as a coach. 7 in a row.
Total.
It's impressive stuff. And this team is so deep and skilled. I mean, Jack Hughes on the line. You have Shane LaChance, the sophomore captain. He's a big kid. The freshman sensation, Cole Iserman, and Cole Hudson, the 2 Coles. Definitely players you want to keep an eye on in a game. They can turn the game really quick. They move the puck so well. My one concern for their team is a lot of the goals they score are off the rush. They don't do a great job of maintaining offensive zone pressure after the rush. So for Penn State, a team that comes with so much speed and pressure offensively, gets the puck out of their zone quickly, BU is going to want to focus on keeping the puck in the offensive zone, trying to create opportunities beyond the first rush. And I think Coach Pandolfo is aware of that, and they will be working quite a bit on that this week in practice and heading into the game.
All right. So with all of those stats in mind, who do you think's going to take it all?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things that you look at when you try to analyze and make a prediction here, which is very sticky business, is you want to go with the teams that have won tight games and have won championships. So I like that Western won the NCHC title. They're the only team left that won their conference title. Neither Penn State, BU, or Denver won their conference title. So you look at the team that's been in those one-and-done situations and has been successful. So I'd like to say Western has the best resume currently to win the title. Penn State, on the other hand, which we didn't touch on for very much, so let me just hit on them for a minute. When you look at their lineup and what they have, they've scored some unbelievable goals. Matt DeMarsico with the game winner to send them against UConn to the Frozen Four in Allentown, which is basically a home ice for them. He was able to bury one to win that game. Highlight reel goal, beautiful finish, and sends Guy Godowski and this young team, as you mentioned, to the Frozen Four. They're a team that plays with so much energy, so much effort, and forecheck. They're just really hard to defend. And they can surprise people in this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make it through and play in the final. The only, I guess, wild card in that is they just don't have the ultra high-end talent that BU has. So if BU gets a push and gets going, it's going to be hard for Penn State to keep up in goals with BU because they score at an alarming rate when they get confidence and get moving. So if I'm going to pick someone, like say who's going to win, I think Western has the best resume to win this title because they played in so many tight games. Probably a little Michigan bias here too because they're from Michigan and have never won a national title. We'd obviously love to see them do well, but all four teams in this, it's the closest bracket I've seen since I've been doing this for quite a bit of time.
Absolutely, and I think it'd be really cool to see a Penn State Western finals, just because then we have a guaranteed new winner. I think it's great to see some of these programs coming along. That being said, Denver has 5 players from Alberta, which is practically Montana.
Yeah, it's right where you grew up, right?
So,
you could look
I
across
think,
your ranch and forever and see it.
That's right. I can see Alberta in the distance.
What's the line? You can see your dog run away for days?
Well, that's probably eastern Montana or West Dakota, as we like to call it.
Maybe that's more Manitoba.
Yeah, that's true.
But, one of the things I want to share with you about is, you had your first regional experience when you went to Toledo to watch the games. What did you take away from that?
I did. It was just a phenomenal atmosphere. All the fans were there to watch their team presumably move on, so I think it's really an electric atmosphere.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. We were there as Michiganders watching Michigan State, who did not fare well. But that brings up another good point when we go to the Frozen Four. The 1 and 2 teams, respectively, both lost out in the regionals.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy in the regionals what happened. The only 1 seed to get through was Western Michigan in Fargo, which is a great barn. They do such a nice job hosting that tournament in Fargo out there every year. I had a chance to broadcast a bunch of games out in Fargo, and it's a fantastic regional. I thought Toledo did an amazing job as well hosting that regional. It was actually I was worried when Ohio State, Michigan State lost that nobody was going to be there at that game, the BU Cornell game, but it was packed. And speaking of that, shout out to Mike Schaefer, head coach at Cornell, who coached there for over 30 years, I think just around 30 years. I think he started in 95, so 30 years. And he's retiring and was a great coach in the ECAC for several years and has done a lot for Cornell hockey. So good luck to you in retirement, Mike, if you happen to watch this. And thanks for all you did for college hockey.
That's a hell of a way to go out with that big upset victory.
Yeah, what a game. I mean, that game against Michigan State was packed full of everything you wanted if you're a Cornell fan. Maybe not if you're a Michigan State fan. Probably not too happy with the outcome. But that's how college hockey goes with these one and done. You just never know.
No, that made it fun. Ill-timed penalty there in the third period.
It was one of those ones you couldn't not call right in front of the goaltender in the slot, a trip. Feel bad for the guy taking the penalty, but it's kind of how it works.
Nope, that happens. I think that was Michigan State's first penalty too.
Was it during the game? Maybe second.
Well, it was few for sure.
Yeah.
So
not very many.
All right, so also coming up this week on Thursday is Masters. What are your predictions for the Masters?
I love the Masters tournament, and it falls right during the Frozen Four every year. So I get a chance on my off day on Friday to watch the Masters. One year I actually zipped down there, went and watched Friday and zipped back and broadcast it on Saturday, which was probably a little bit too much. But it was a fun trip. The Masters to me it's what golf's all about. Obviously, my two passions outside of finance and working with financial advisors is golf and hockey. And I don't know. I think there's an interesting dynamic now with these live guys because this is the first time they get to prove themselves. First chance they get to go out and play against the best players in the world when they're on their whatever you want to call that tour and playing. And there's a lot of players that have high end skill that just nobody knows about or not. They know about, but maybe the casual fan doesn't know about. So I think Jocko Niemann's in a great spot. He's playing terrific golf, the Chilean. In every pool I'm in, I picked him to win, along with, if you get like two picks, I picked him and Scotty Scheffler. So I think Niemann's a high-end player who's playing really good golf right now, has a chance to win. But I'm just looking forward to sitting on the couch on Sunday and watching the final and, as they come around Amen Corner, see them try to battle it out.
Yeah, maybe order some pimento cheese from Zingerman's
somewhere
and make your sandwiches.
That'd be nice. I mean, I hopefully they're already made because if I make them, then it's not going to go too well.
Well,
Can I DoorDash that?
Just Wonder Bread and pimento cheese. You just scoop it on.
Is that what it is? Wonder Bread?
Yeah.
It's like $1 at the Masters too. It's great.
You can't even make it for $1 at your house.
I know. It's $1 of beer, $1 of it's that they just got it dialed in at the Masters. It's the best tournament in golf, bar down.
What's the strategy in picking the same two players in all of your pools? You're really kind of overweighting.
Yeah, I feel like if you spread them out too much, you just it's tough. You got to pick two guys, go with your horses, like your bet, and stick with it.
You didn't want to hedge your portfolio, so you're going all in.
I'm going all in, as they say, absolutely. But exciting week for both college hockey and golf, and we're really excited, and hopefully this gives you all lens into a little bit of the competitions that's coming up for the college hockey fans. I will say I'm disappointed my Wolverines didn't make the tournament this year, but hopefully they can retool. And, there's a lot going on in the college hockey landscape right now with the portal, NIL, and things happening, and conversations. I'm getting calls all the time with, is this kid going to leave? Is he going to stay? Who's offering NIL money to what player? How much are they getting? There's just so much noise out there in the NIL space. And one of the things we hope to bring to our listeners here shortly is a conversation around NIL. And we'll bring on an expert in that space who's dealing with it with some of the universities, hopefully sometime soon.
And that's interesting because we hear about NIL and football and basketball. But hockey, how many entered the portal on the first day it opened?
I think it was 120 or something crazy. I might be wrong, but there's a lot. There's a lot of guys in the portal.
There's a lot. So there's a lot of talent moving around. So it's interesting how it's having an effect across all sports.
It is. And now you have the CHL. For those casual hockey fans that don't know what that is, that's Major Junior in Canada, which historically, if you went and played in that league, you couldn't come into U.S. college hockey. You were considered professional, and they wouldn't let you come in and play. But now you can. So that is opening up, which is a whole nother giant pond of players and talent that can come into college hockey, which I believe starts Monday. So Monday, those players can start committing to college hockey. And there are a few absolute crazy talented players that are believed to be coming to U.S. college. And I think some NIL money will be tied to that and also some opportunity. We'll see how it all plays out. But it's a fascinating time in the college hockey landscape. I'm sure it drives the coaches nuts. North Dakota just hired, I saw today, a GM, a hockey GM for their program to handle NIL, recruiting, transfer portal, all the things that go into everything but on ice. So it's getting more and more involved and more complicated for these programs. But I think there's more talent now, and I hope the game will grow as a result. Like, why doesn't Texas have a hockey program, right? Why doesn't Illinois or Northwestern have a hockey program? And I think part of the reason over time has been they didn't know if they built it, if they would come. And I think Penn State has proven that if you build it, they'll come. I think Arizona State has proved that. So over time, these programs are going to continue to invest money, and I think you're going to see more and more schools have programs. But the larger schools have to get involved now, because if they don't, with the NIL money, it looks to me like some of the Big Ten, for example, which has tons of football capital, will ultimately be able to spend the dollars to get players, and the landscape will change.
And speaking of that, I think, when recruiting players, the arena you're playing in is big. So you look at North Dakota and the Ralph.
Right.
Everyone wants to play there. It's an amazing facility.
It really is. It's incredible. Good luck, Dane, by the way. Dane Jackson, new coach. Good Rochester American back in the day.
Oh, your hometown.
Hometown, yeah.
Oh, look at that. And then you have, I think, Western Michigan's getting they're moving to downtown Kalamazoo.
Yeah, but it's going to be unbelievable facility.
So that should help in recruiting.
It
that
will
on top of
help.
NIL. So I think that's
winning.
a program really that's on the upswing. I mean, they're in the Frozen Four for the first time. They have a new venue they're going to be playing at.
Mm-hmm. And a great coach who develops players.
And a great coach who was a captain there himself.
He was. And that goes a long way. A lot of these universities, you notice, they keep alumni around to coach. Most coaches at Division I programs are alumni of the school for the most part. Some are not. But like Eric Lang just got hired at RPI from AIC's program, folded this year, and he's going to RPI, which is a great fit, and not an alum of the school, but a great coach. So there is some change there, but facilities do play a big role in this. You got to have the facilities to recruit the top end players, because they want to have the ability to train. They want to know what it's going to be like to play in the NHL and what that feeling's going to be like. Some of the facilities are actually better than NHL facilities.
Yeah, that's incredible. Any other thoughts on the upcoming week, your trip to Connecticut?
Well, I'm looking forward to being in studio for sure. I get to sit next to Andrew Raycroft and Arda O'Cal at ESPN, and it's always fun to sit with those guys and talk college hockey. I think we may have a special guest, too, coming on Thursday to join us, so that'll be really exciting to have a coach who was recently bounced from the tournament to join us. So we're looking forward to having him. I don't know if I can announce it yet, but we'll have a coach there as well on Thursday for in between the two games. It's a long day, but it sure is a fun day. And college hockey, if you're an advisor out there watching it and you're a casual fan of one of these universities, tune in, because it is a heck of a ride.
So I think it'd be interesting being in ESPN during the Masters, because there's got to be some golf coverage.
Yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah, you could say
so
that. Yeah, I bounce around from studio to studio to check out what's going on, and it's fun to see the production of golf and how many cameras there are. I mean, think about it. You got to cover 18 holes, the practice area, and they do a great job of it. And it's fun to watch, and always drama around Amen Corner, and that's where the best shots and stories always come from.
Of course. Well, Sean, I want to thank you for being here, giving us some of your wisdom before you head off to Connecticut to cover the Frozen Four. This is In the Harbor. Thank you for being here.